The mockery chamber. The arrival. Captain Sarah Mitchell pressed her palm against the cool metal wall of the transport shuttle as it docked with the Galactic Assessment Arena. Through the small porthole, she could see the massive structure that hung in the void between star systems. The station was enormous, easily the size of Earth's moon, constructed from materials that seemed to shift color with each passing moment. Crystalline spires jutted out at impossible angles, while sections of the station appeared to be made of living tissue that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. "Impressive, isn't it?" Dr. James Park said quietly, adjusting his simple black suit. The scientist had spent the last decade studying alien cultures, preparing for this moment. His calm demeanor masked years of intense preparation. Ambassador Lisa Chen nodded as she reviewed the data pad in her hands one final time. As the senior negotiator, she had led humanity's diplomatic efforts for the past 15 years. Today would determine whether humanity earned a place among the galactic community or remained isolated on their small blue planet. The three humans represented Earth's finest minds. Sarah brought military strategy and tactical thinking. James contributed scientific analysis and cultural understanding. Lisa provided diplomatic experience and negotiation skills. Together, they formed humanity's last hope for acceptance into the Galactic Confederacy. As the airlock opened, they were greeted by a being that resembled a walking tree made of silver metal. Its voice came through universal translators embedded in the station walls. "Welcome, humans. I am Protocol Guide 779. Follow the designated path to Assessment Chamber Prime. Do not deviate. Do not touch anything. Do not speak unless directly addressed." The humans exchanged glances but said nothing. They had expected this cold reception. For months, their intelligence network had gathered information about the assessment process. Every species faced this trial, but few emerged with full membership status. The presentation chamber. The path led through corridors that defied physics. Gravity seemed to shift randomly, sometimes pulling them forward, other times making them feel weightless. Strange music echoed from unseen sources, creating an atmosphere designed to unsettle visitors. Sarah noticed how the walls displayed images of failed species, civilizations that had been rejected and left to develop alone. After what felt like hours, they entered Assessment Chamber Prime. The room was circular and vast, with seating arranged in ascending tiers that reached toward a domed ceiling. Hundreds of different alien species filled the seats, creating a visual symphony of different evolutionary paths. Some beings were gaseous clouds contained in mechanical suits. Others appeared to be living crystals that hummed with energy. A few looked almost human, but with features that suggested paralleled evolution on distant worlds. At the center of the chamber stood three simple chairs, clearly meant for the human delegation. Above them, holographic displays flickered to life, ready to present humanity's case to the assembled aliens. The humans took their seats without ceremony. Sarah sat straight-backed, her military training evident in her posture. James folded his hands in his lap, his scientist's mind already cataloging the different species around them. Lisa maintained the diplomatic smile she had perfected over years of negotiations. A voice boomed through the chamber, speaking in harmonious tones that the translators rendered into human language. "We gather today to assess the species known as humanity. They request membership in our Galactic Confederacy. As is our tradition, we shall examine their worthiness through careful evaluation of their achievements, failures, and potential contributions to galactic civilization." The humiliation begins. Without warning, the holographic displays above the humans burst into life. Images of Earth's darkest moments filled the air around them. Wars raged across the displays, showing humanity's long history of conflict. The visuals were carefully selected to show the worst aspects of human nature. The atomic bombs dropped on Japan, the trenches of World War I, modern conflicts in distant lands. A collective sound rose from the alien audience, something between laughter and derision. The sound chilled the air in the chamber. "Observe," came a new voice, this one belonging to a being that looked like a massive insect with compound eyes that reflected light in rainbow patterns. A species that has spent most of its recorded history engaged in warfare against its own kind. Even today, conflicts rage across their planet. They cannot achieve peace among themselves, yet they seek to join our peaceful confederation. The displays shifted to show environmental destruction. Polluted rivers, smoggy cities, vast garbage patches floating in Earth's oceans. Deforestation and strip mining scared once beautiful landscapes. Furthermore, continued a serpentine creature whose scales seemed to be made of liquid mercury. They systematically destroy their own habitat. Advanced civilizations learn to live in harmony with their environment. Humans poison their own air and water while simultaneously depending on these resources for survival. More laughter echoed through the chamber. The humans remained perfectly still, their faces showing no emotion whatsoever. Species testimonies. One by one, different alien species rose to speak. Each testimony was designed to highlight humanity's shortcomings compared to their own achievements. A being of pure energy, contained within a transparent geometric shape, spoke next. The luminary achieved perfect energy harmony 12,000 years ago. We eliminated scarcity, war, and environmental damage. Humans still burn fossil fuels and argue over resource distribution. They are millennia behind our developmental curve. A group of creatures that resembled living coral formations pulsed with synchronized light as their representative spoke. The coral collective has maintained perfect unity for 8,000 years. Every member of our species shares consciousness and works toward common goals. Humans cannot even agree on basic facts about their own reality. They fragment into competing ideologies and wage information wars against each other. The testimonies continued for hours. Each alien civilization presented itself as superior to humanity in fundamental ways. The crystalline hegemony had eliminated disease and death. The void swimmers had mastered faster than light travel when humanity was still discovering fire. The harmonic assembly had achieved perfect social order while humans struggled with crime and inequality. Through it all, the three humans sat in complete silence. They did not fidget, did not show signs of distress, did not attempt to defend their species. Their calm composure began to create a strange atmosphere in the chamber. The silent response. As the testimonies grew more pointed and insulting, something unexpected happened. The aliens began to pay more attention to the humans' lack of reaction than to their own speeches. Sarah's military bearing never wavered. James continued to observe everything with scientific detachment. Lissa maintained her diplomatic composure without any sign of stress. Perhaps they do not understand the gravity of these proceedings, suggested a creature that resembled a floating jellyfish made of dark matter. Shall we explain that failure here means permanent isolation from galactic civilization? The chamber's primary voice responded. The translation systems are functioning perfectly. They understand every word. A new speaker emerged from the crowd, a being that looked like living smoke contained within a skeletal framework. Maybe they are simply too primitive to comprehend their own inadequacy. Some species lack the cognitive capacity for true self-awareness. This comment drew the loudest laughter yet from the assembled aliens. The sound echoed through the chamber like a wave of contempt. Still, the humans said nothing. Mounting pressure. The Alien Council decided to increase the pressure. The holographic displays now showed humanity's most embarrassing cultural moments. Reality television shows, social media conflicts, political scandals, and celebrity worship dominated the visuals. Observe their entertainment preferences, announced a being that appeared to be made of living mathematics, its form constantly shifting between geometric patterns. While advanced civilizations pursue knowledge, beauty, and spiritual growth, humans are fascinated by the personal failures of their own species members. The displays shifted again, showing human religious conflicts throughout history. The Crusades, sectarian violence, and modern extremism played out in vivid detail. They cannot even agree on the nature of existence, added a creature resembling a walking plant with consciousness that sparkled like stars among its leaves. Thousands of different belief systems compete for dominance, often violently. Advanced species achieve spiritual unity. Humans fragment into competing mythologies. The mockery reached a crescendo as multiple alien voices began speaking simultaneously, each adding new criticisms and comparisons. The chamber filled with a cacophony of condemnation, yet the humans remained silent. The quiet observation. What the aliens failed to notice was that the humans were not simply enduring the humiliation. They were studying every detail of the proceedings with scientific precision. Sarah's military mind was cataloging the power structures in the room, noting which species seemed to hold real authority and which were merely following the crowd. She observed the subtle body language and positioning that revealed actual hierarchies versus public appearances. James was analyzing the technology being used, the social dynamics between species, and the underlying assumptions that governed galactic civilization. Every insult revealed information about the aliens' own insecurities and weaknesses. Lisa was reading the political undercurrents, understanding the complex relationships between different civilizations, and identifying potential future allies and enemies. The humans were turning their apparent weakness into their greatest strength. While the aliens focused on demonstrating their superiority, the humans were quietly learning everything they needed to know about their judges. Building tension. As the hours passed, something strange began to happen in the chamber. The aliens' confidence started to waver. The humans' complete lack of reaction was unsettling in ways the aliens had not anticipated. "Why do they not defend themselves?" whispered a creature that looked like a collection of floating metallic spheres. "Perhaps they are planning something," suggested another being, this one resembling a miniature galaxy contained within a humanoid form. The primary council voice attempted to regain control. "Humans, you have heard the testimonies of your betters. Do you have anything to say in your defense? Any explanation for your species' primitive behavior?" The three humans looked at each other briefly. Sarah gave an almost imperceptible nod. Lisa stood slowly, her movement drawing the attention of every being in the chamber. "We have heard your words," she said simply, her voice clear and calm. "Thank you for your time." That was all. She sat back down, and once again, silence filled the chamber. The aliens exchanged confused glances across species lines. This was not how assessments typically proceeded. Most species either mounted passionate defenses or broke down under the pressure. The humans' response was unlike anything in the Confederation's history. The tension in the chamber became palpable as the aliens began to realize that something was fundamentally different about this assessment. The human silence was not weakness or ignorance. It was something else entirely, something that made the aliens increasingly uncomfortable as they began to question what they might have missed. The silent departure. The final insult. The primary council voice, now carrying an edge of frustration, began what was clearly intended to be the final judgment. The chamber's lighting dimmed, focusing dramatic beams on the three humans sitting at the center. After careful consideration of the evidence presented, the Galactic Confederacy finds humanity unworthy of membership. Your species demonstrates primitive aggression, environmental destruction, social fragmentation, and technological inadequacy. You lack the wisdom, unity, and advancement required for galactic citizenship. The being that resembled living mathematics rose again, its geometric patterns shifting with what appeared to be satisfaction. Furthermore, your silence during these proceedings demonstrates either arrogance or stupidity. Neither quality suggests readiness for integration with superior civilizations. A new voice joined the condemnation, belonging to a creature that looked like crystallized music, its form vibrating with harmonic frequencies. "We recommend a minimum isolation period of 5,000 years, after which humanity may reapply for assessment. Perhaps by then, you will have evolved beyond your current primitive state." The mockery reached its peak as dozens of alien voices rose in agreement. Species that had been silent throughout the proceedings now added their own dismissive comments. The chamber filled with alien laughter, clicks, hums, and other sounds of derision that the universal translators rendered as contempt. Pathetic, came a voice from the shadowy upper tiers. Completely hopeless, added another. A waste of our valuable time, concluded a third. The primary voice prepared to deliver the final dismissal. Humans, you are hereby rejected from consideration for Galactic Confederacy membership. Return to your isolated planet and do not contact us again until you have achieved actual civilization. The stand. In the moment that followed this declaration, something extraordinary happened. Without any visible signal or communication between them, the three humans began to rise from their chairs simultaneously. The movement was so perfectly coordinated that it seemed choreographed, yet it was clearly spontaneous. The synchronized movement caught the attention of every being in the chamber. The alien voices gradually fell silent as hundreds of different species focused on the humans' unexpected response. But the humans did not speak. They did not gesture. They did not show any sign of anger, frustration, or defeat. They simply stood there for a moment, three representatives of humanity facing hundreds of allegedly superior beings. Then, still in perfect unison, they turned toward the chamber's exit. What followed was the most powerful silence in galactic history. The three humans began walking toward the exit with measured, deliberate steps. Their pace was neither rushed nor slow, but perfectly controlled. Each footstep echoed through the now quiet chamber with crystalline clarity. They did not look back. They did not pause. They did not acknowledge the hundreds of alien eyes focused on their retreat. Their silence was absolute and profound, carrying more weight than any speech or argument could have managed. As they walked, something strange began to happen in the chamber. The aliens, who moments before had been unified in their mockery, began to exchange uncertain glances. The humans' response was so unexpected, so completely outside their experience, that it created a psychological vacuum in the room. "Wait," called out the serpentine creature with mercury scales. "Do you have nothing to say?" No plea for reconsideration. The humans continued walking without acknowledging the question. "This is unprecedented," whispered the living coral formation to its neighbors. The floating jellyfish of dark matter pulsed with confused energy patterns. Why are they not responding? All species respond to judgment. Alien confusion. As the humans reached the halfway point to the exit, panic began to spread through the alien assembly. Their unanimous confidence was cracking as they realized they had encountered something completely outside their understanding. The being of pure energy flickered with unstable patterns. "Stop them. They must provide proper acknowledgement of our judgment." But no one moved to stop the humans. Something about their dignified silence was more intimidating than any threat or display of power could have been. The primary council voice, now uncertain for the first time in the proceedings, attempted to regain control. "Humans, you will acknowledge this council's authority. You will accept our judgment." The three humans continued their steady walk toward the exit. They were now 3/4 of the way to the doorway, and still had not spoken a single word or shown any reaction to the aliens' demands. "This is intolerable," declared the creature of crystallized music, its harmonics becoming discordant with stress. "No species has ever shown such disrespect to the Confederation." But even as the aliens protested, a growing realization was spreading through the chamber. The human silence was not showing disrespect. It was demonstrating something far more powerful, complete indifference to the aliens' opinions. The revelation. As the humans reached the exit, Dr. James Park paused for the first time since they had begun walking. He reached into his jacket pocket and withdrew a small device that looked like nothing more than a standard human tablet computer. With the same calm deliberation that had characterized their entire presence in the chamber, he placed the device on a pedestal near the exit. Then he tapped it once with his finger. Immediately, holographic displays throughout the chamber flickered to life, but now they were under human control. The aliens watched in growing horror as their own secrets began to appear in the displays above them. The luminary, who had boasted of perfect energy harmony, were shown to be exploiting dimensional parasites that fed on the life force of less advanced civilizations. The Coral Collective's unity was maintained through brutal mental conditioning that destroyed individual consciousness. The crystalline hegemony had eliminated disease by systematically exterminating any member who showed signs of imperfection. Species after species saw their darkest secrets revealed in vivid detail. War crimes, genocides, technological theft, and social oppression filled the displays. Every civilization that had mocked humanity was exposed as hypocritical and morally corrupt. But the most devastating revelation was yet to come. The counterstrike. The final display showed a comprehensive analysis of every alien species in the chamber. During their silent observation, the humans had been recording and analyzing everything they saw and heard. They had identified each civilization's technological weaknesses, social vulnerabilities, and strategic disadvantages. Most shocking of all, the analysis revealed that humanity had been monitoring galactic communications for decades. They knew about the Confederacy's expansion plans, their resource exploitation schemes, and their systematic suppression of emerging civilizations. The humans had not come to this assessment to beg for acceptance. They had come to gather intelligence on their potential enemies. Dr. James Park finally spoke, his voice calm and professional as he addressed the stunned chamber. "We thank you for this comprehensive demonstration of galactic civilization's moral bankruptcy and strategic vulnerabilities. This information will be valuable for our future planning." The power shift. Captain Sarah Mitchell stepped forward, her military bearing now revealed as the controlled power it had always been. "For the record, we never wanted to join your confederation. We came here to study you, to understand what we might be facing when you inevitably try to exploit or conquer our world. Your behavior today has exceeded our worst expectations." Ambassador Lisa Chen delivered the final blow with diplomatic precision. "We will be returning to Earth now. You should know that this entire proceeding has been broadcast live to every major human government and military organization. Our species will be prepared for any future contact with galactic civilization." The aliens sat in stunned silence as the implications sank in. They had been observed, analyzed, and completely outmaneuvered by the supposedly primitive humans. Furthermore, Lisa continued, "The information we have gathered about each of your civilizations has been compiled into detailed reports. These will be shared with every species you have rejected or exploited. Your victims will finally understand who their oppressors really are." The chamber erupted into chaos as the aliens realized that their carefully maintained power structure was about to collapse. The new reality. Without waiting for any response, the three humans turned and walked through the exit, leaving the alien confederacy to face the consequences of their own arrogance. Behind them, the chamber descended into pandemonium as different species began accusing each other of security breaches and strategic failures. The unity they had proudly displayed while mocking humanity crumbled within minutes of the humans' departure. As their shuttle detached from the space station and began its journey back to Earth, Captain Mitchell allowed herself a small smile. "Did you see their faces when they realized we had been recording everything?" she asked. Dr. Park was already reviewing the data they had collected. "Better than that. Did you see how quickly they turned on each other? Their entire alliance is based on shared superiority complex. Remove that foundation, and the whole structure collapses." Ambassador Chen was composing her report for Earth's leadership. "The mission was a complete success. We now know exactly what we're dealing with, and they have no idea what humanity is truly capable of." The three humans had accomplished something unprecedented in galactic history. They had turned a humiliation into an intelligence operation, used silence as a weapon, and demonstrated that true strength comes not from boasting about superiority, but from understanding your enemies better than they understand themselves. As Earth grew larger in their viewport, they knew that humanity's real journey among the stars was just beginning. But now they would travel it on their own terms, with full knowledge of both the opportunities and dangers that awaited them. The Galactic Confederacy had mocked humanity's potential. In response, humanity had revealed that their greatest strength was not in matching alien achievements, but in seeing through alien pretensions to understand the reality beneath. They had been laughed at by creatures who thought themselves superior. They had walked away in silence, leaving those same creatures to face the devastating truth about themselves. And in the end, humanity had won without firing a shot or speaking the word in anger. They had simply observed, understood, and acted with the quiet confidence that comes from genuine strength rather than loud boasting. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.